I'm looking up right now some Pokemon that maybe could be classified or as prehistoric or ancient in some way.
Prehistoric Pokemon, yeah.
You guys mentioned a few of them. Arceus,
all the
Mew.
ancient power evolutions.
Exactly.
Also legendaries. I know we touched on it a little bit, but like legendaries, they are basically living for a long time, or at least we think that they live for a long time. They're legends.
At least some of them, like the god ones,
Yeah, well, even other ones, like you could see like Lugia and Ho-Oh, who knows how old they are. You know what I mean? Like there's no, obviously in the anime we got like baby Lugia, but that's not really canon. You know, the game Lugia could have been alive forever. Yeah. Since prehistoric times.
Like
or maybe
Zacian and Zamazenta, though, I'd be less inclined to believe that they're prehistoric.
To me, what makes sense with that is
legendary, though.
I mean, they are, but like they're a different. You know what I mean? Like even though like in coding out of universe, we describe them as box legendaries.
The sense of the word, not their classification. Just like they are legendary, so like they come from legends. You know what I mean?
I know, but like the legends are surrounding the darkest. The legends for them are surrounding the darkest day, which was 3,000 years ago, which at least by Pokemon standards is not prehistory.
Right. It's true.
So they just don't feel as They don't feel as they're dogs, right? They don't feel as ancient.
They could just be their regular wolf.
Another one is Mewtwo. Obviously, is not an ancient legendary since it's a newer one.
But Mew,
technically, Koraidon, Miraidon aren't because they're not even from our timelines.
Yeah. This is
Mythicals too.
Yeah, Mythicals too. Here's a bunch of Pokemon that can learn. So there's obviously Pokemon that evolve when they know ancient power. Tangela is one of them. Piloswine is one of them. What is it?
So random. Tangela, like ancient power. That's how it evolves.
Well, it's kind of
Yanma also evolves.
Evolution is very like kind of ape-like in the way it moves and stuff. Like it swings from branches with its vines.
That's interesting. Kind of like a Bigfoot.
Like it's kind of like a Sasquatch. Yeah.
I think it's cool because some of these Pokemon. I mean, this is actually this might be a completely different topic, but like if Magcargo learns ancient power. Could it have an ancient power evolution, right? Could Corsola have an ancient power evolution? That's kind of a cool idea, but I think
it has to do with the rock type. That's what.
No, it does. It does. Absolutely.
Yeah, but some of these, I would say, they're getting the ancient power from a kind of primal part of them, and not from a rock type part of them, like Dunsparce.
And so, don't jump ahead because I want to present this in an interesting way. But yeah, I think the ancient power is basically allowing the Pokemon to access whatever is in its DNA. Don't jump ahead. Whatever's in its DNA, and it's allowing the Pokemon to access that, evolve, and then we maybe get a glimpse at what the prehistoric form of that Pokemon used to look like, right? We talked about like, what if Relicanth looked differently in the past and evolved to look how it does now? Maybe not. I think some of these evolutions are showing us a little bit of that. And to go a step further, I think Mega Evolution might also be something that we could look at to see which Pokemon, what they potentially looked like in the past, right?
Sure. Yeah. I think I've said the theory before that, in fact, it's the biggest video, non-short, but like regular video that I've had on my channel was about how I believe that Mega Evolution is taking... It is an evolution. The thing is, you have to look at the name, right? It's an evolution. This is an evolution. It is furthering, not reverting, it is furthering the design of Aerodactyl. Just I think it's doing that with latent, which means not being used, not presented, like just kind of hidden DNA in the Pokemon to evolve it further, which is why Aerodactyl, its Mega, is supposed to be more similar to what it looked like in the past.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Like I look at Pinsir, and it looks like it is from like the dinosaur era, right? It looks like this super bug that is just like resilient to the most like horrible climate. That's what I'm imagining, right? When I look at it with its yellow eyes.
It does give you like serious past Paradox vibes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It does look like it.
Yeah.
Which is another huge topic in this whole thing. Like you were talking about Dunsparce getting ancient power, and then Dunsparce also having that Pokedex entry that like it flew in ancient times and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's like
I might make that a video.
It was the perfect time to give it a past paradox was in Gen 9 now. You know, like it was the perfect moment. Instead they give it an evolution, but it's like we want to see the ancient version of Dunsparce that like could freaking fly it across the skies and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like probably rock type. Probably had a fossil Dunsparce version, you know?
Yeah. So
it's interesting, and it all ties back. The past paradoxes, a lot of these could be that kind of vibe as well.
Yeah. A really good one is, I don't know if you're gonna pull back up that ancient power list. I think that's a really good
I was
list.
gonna. Oh, this keeps pulling.
Is
up
it
there.
one Pokemon that's on there is Togepi, and to kind of tie in multiple forms of media to this, in the anime, Ash finds a Togepi egg at a fossil dig site.
What? Yes. Yeah. That's cool. It's
like,
basically a dinosaur egg. I think Togepi always seemed like that. It's this little creature that just can't break out of its egg, right?
Yeah.
That's really. I never thought about that. That's cool. And
when I first saw it, I did think that. Then once it evolves, you're like,
you're like, well, this isn't really a dinosaur.
It's an angel or something. It's this weird little bird. But that's honestly really cool. I'd love to see a split evolution for it to look a little bit more, like a dinosaur or something. I think Swinub into Piloswine into Mamoswine is really cool.
Makes sense.
Mamoswine obviously is a mammoth, right?
Yanma too is there. That's so interesting.
Yeah. Well, Yanma.
Well, it's talking about like Mega Pinster. Yanmega looks very like past paradoxy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
True.
Let's pull up its evolution right here. For viewers, we got Yanmega right here. This thing looks crazy, right? This thing looks like it could have the dragon type, I think.
Yeah.
Very, very easily. Where's Mamoswine right here?
It's a mammoth pig.
It's a mammoth pig. But it's like, I mean, talk about a fossil Pokemon. This thing was not dinosaur era, but pre-Ice Age, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's pretty cool.
It could easily pass as a fossil.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's like world building, creating Pokemon like Groudon, Mew, Arceus, and then you have, and I'm sure there's videos out there that have done this. And then you have the fossil Pokemon, which is prehistoric, and then you have these like Ice Age era Pokemon, right? And maybe that's what Ancient Power is really pulling out of these Pokemon, right? Maybe not fossils, right? Not prehistoric, but just ancient. And then you have modern day.
That's really the question, though. Like, fossil Pokemon, the main thing that defines them is the fossil part, is that they are revived from fossils. Like, these other Pokemon, like Mamoswine, could have existed back when these fossil Pokemon existed. It's just that those fossil ones went extinct and became fossils instead, while Mamoswine has existed the whole time.
Possibly. I don't know. Relicanth, though, is pretty weird, though. Like, if Relicanth didn't have that rock type, I don't think I would have questioned it. Or if Relicanth dropped in like Gen 7 when there was no other fossils, maybe I'd be like, yeah, I don't really think it's a fossil. It's just
but like out of universe, the rock type is such an easy way to say like, hey, this thing's ancient. So it makes sense that Game Freak put the rock type on Relicanth because like its whole thing is it's supposed to be ancient. So it's like, well, if we put the rock type, people look at that and think, oh, that's ancient. Also, just want to say that a Kecleon Ancient Power evolution.
Dude, I'm thinking about this the whole time. That would be incredible.
Most of the ones that are like random in here would be really cool to see as ancient versions of them. And that's what I mean with past paradoxes. It's like, why weren't they past paradoxes in this case? But
I'm trying to Cryogonal evolution.
That's a weird one, honestly. That's like so weird to be in there, the Cryogonal.
Yeah. Kind of cool though. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Carbink makes sense. Carbink's just an old rock.
Well, but it's it's a rock, so like it is old, you know.
Any of the ones that are rocks, it makes sense for them to get this stuff. But
just looking at the rest of the list, I think
Reggies.
Yeah, the Reggies. Yeah, I mean they're not fossils though. I think
breeding is interesting too because that means like it's latent in their DNA to learn it.
Crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, Krabby, Execute, Cubone.
Charmander's a big one there, I think.
Yeah, I agree. That is really cool, and we see that, right? Charmander has a mega evolution.
Right.
It's got all this like latent DNA. Lapras is again a plesiosaur. Like, I could see that feels like it'd be it's a dinosaur, right? It's not a dinosaur. just for the record.
but
it kind of is.
Farm those comments, but it is.
Like I think this is a really, really interesting discussion because I don't know. Again, when I think of fossils, I'm not thinking of the fossil Pokemon or the fossil element of the fact that like that. I'm not. To me, I'm just like
prehistoric.
But
prehistoric.
you should be thinking like prehistoric or like very ancient. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you think we'll get more fossil Pokemon in the future? I mean, we didn't really get anything in Gen 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, they're beloved. You can't not do them. You know.
I think we 100% get them next generation. I think every time they didn't do it, it kind of made sense. Other than, I guess Gen 2 was probably just because they got cut because they didn't want to.
Well, Gen 2 was like, it was hardly a pattern, right? Like at that point, it
yeah.
was just
Also,
kind of,
Gen 2
was
just
we're shooting things at walls. We haven't established anything.
Also, it was connected to Gen 1, like very heavily. You know, we talked about this just now, but I didn't hear the answer. Can you get the fossils in Johto? I don't even remember.
You can you cannot in Generation 2 and Heart Gold Soul Silver.
Yeah, but can't you go to Kanto afterwards and just get them?
But they're not in Kanto. In Gold, Silver, and Crystal, you cannot. I remember wanting to get them as a kid. You can't get the legendaries from Kanto. You can't do so much.
And Ammonite, you cannot get.
All of the best things.
You can get Aerodactyl. You can get Aerodactyl.
In Crystal?
In Gold, Silver, and Crystal, you can get Aerodactyl. You trade with a character on Route 4.
Interesting.
Oh, it's a trade? I don't think you can.
In-game trade.
Yeah, it says it's a trade with a character. This is Cerebi too, so like, you know, that's a pretty.
They were doing some
source.
wonky things apparently. They were like, let's not give them.
Let's see, fossils. In-game trades. I'm on Cerebi
I don't think you can.
now. I'll read you. Yeah, Route 14. The only Pokemon exclusive to trades in this game is Aerodactyl.
Okay.
However, you'll need to trade the elusive Chansey to get it. It's a decent trade-off unless you like Chansey, and Aerodactyl can provide some late-game support, ripping through Erica and Blaine's team without a...
You know, that reminds me, it is nice to see characters like Lance with an Aerodactyl or Brock with a bunch of the fossils, right, in his rematch in Generation 2. That is cool to see other characters like using these fossils, not as if like they're just rare, but like they're Pokemon like anything else, right? That is cool.
And like they were a big part of like Steven's team, like in the sense they were a part of him, you know, like
Steven Stone,
part of his character.
So we've got we mentioned it, but you know, we didn't get any fossils in Generation 9 because we get the Past Paradox, and
that's the main reason I think.
Yeah, definitely. Why? Where do we kind of land on understanding the Paradox Pokemon, the past ones?
They are from another timeline. It stayed in game.
Yeah. So that's why it's like they are from a past, but
not our past.
Our past.
Yeah. Right.
They're from just a random
just alternate reality, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like in a lot of ways,
it's a multiverse thing. This is a Loki variant. You know what I mean? Like.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
so
the most simple way to describe it. You know,
Right.
they just got pulled in from Terapagos and into our universe, basically.